Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and today we're going to look at recent sales prices, mainly auctions for loose graded Star Wars items. And I say that because some of these are not licensed figures, as you can see by this thumbnail. There were some Brazilian model Trems that were CAS graded that sold at auction. I bid on every single one of them, and I finished second or third on every single one of them. That's the way it goes. It's probably for a good thing. I don't need any more bootlegs, but I didn't have any model Trems, and I still don't, but I kind of wanted to bid on those just to see what they would go for, and we'll talk more about those a little bit later on. Before I dig in any further, be sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new to the channel and you're into getting market information on our vintage toys from the childhood at 2024 prices, which continue to climb. And I just want to say thanks to those of you that do watch the channel and support the channel. It means a lot to me. All right, let's dig in. We had two different UKG 85s for vinyl Cape Jawas that sold. It does seem like we've had a lot of vinyl Cape Jawas lately. It's just one of those things, I suppose. This one did sell. It was in a buy it now situation for 2,200 pounds, which is, excuse me, Diet Dr. Pepper, really burpy. 2,200 pounds, which is $2,800 and change. So that's about the going rate, it seems like lately. They kind of peaked at, like, I don't know, I'd say 3,000 to 3,200 for a UKG 85 new case style, and they've come back down a little bit. I'd say $2,400 to $2,800 seems to be more like the going rate right now. So that one did sell. That was straight 85s for the sub scores for that vinyl Cape Jawa. And then this one also sold. This one had a figure score of a 90, paint 85, Cape 85. And that one sold in an auction for 2,455 euros, which is 26.65 US. So 26.65 to 28.27. That gives you a nice price range to aim for if you're into these early vinyl Cape Jawas. Very nice examples. And AFA 85s, they do tend to be above $3,000 for an AFA 85. You're probably 32 to 3,400, somewhere in that ballpark seems to be about the going rate right now. Next up was a dimple dome R2-D2, first 12, solid dome, but it has the dimple on the top of the head. You can see there on the label, it's labeled dimple dome, and you can see very clearly that little dimple on there. And I've been asked, what is that? What is that? And I would just assume it's some sort of factory variation where when the head was getting attached to the rest of the plastic body, it just caused that dimple. And, you know, it's just a weird variation for some early R2-D2s. Most of them do not have it, but if it has that little dimple, people freak out. And you can see why with that price, 350 pounds, 450 US dollars for a UKG 85% dimple dome R2-D2. This has got the Hong Kong COO. Tri-logo Boba Fett, Spanish PvP Boba Fett, and that was a UKG 80%. That one sold for 347 US dollars, which is 270 pounds. That one's come back down to earth a little bit. You know, I would say even last year, it was more like 400 to 425 at the top end for a UKG 85%. Now you can probably get a UKG 85 for that price. But a UKG 80, it's kind of in that 350 range, which is about what, you know, a standard AFA 85 Taiwan goes for. And to me, a UKG 80% tri-logo for that price, that's a price I'd pay. That's a pretty decent price. I think this was every bit of an 80%. You can see some light wear to the visor paint, and, you know, one little weird kind of discoloration type thing on his right arm. A little bit of paint chipping around the shoulders, but I think that's every bit of an 85. Light blue body, which is what the tri-logo Boba Fett's known for. No COO. Next up, I've got 2 or 3 different loose graded die casts that sold. First is a UKG 85 die cast land speeder. I think I showed all of these in a what to buy video a couple weeks back. This one was listed for 269 pounds. Best offer was accepted. I forgot to look it up, what it sold for, but probably in that 300 to 325 US dollars would be my guess. Here was the Snow Speeder. That one was listed for 259 pounds, which is 332 US dollars. This was a UKG 80% for that one. Very nice case style. I like how UKG grades these. I still think, as I've talked about, CAS does the best job. I've got two arriving. They're actually at the FedEx office right now for me to go pick up. Two more that were just graded by CAS. I've got a diecast land speeder as well as a X-Wing. And the grades are about where I expected. So I'm sure I'll show those in a recent pickups video here soon. But I need to finish this video and then go pick them up from the FedEx. I just got the notification about 5 minutes ago that they arrived. Anyway, that one also did sell. That one included the card back as well as the blister. And again, I didn't look it up what it sold for. I'm guessing probably around 300 US bucks, which is about where they go for. Next up was a UKG 85 Slave 1 with the card back. That one did sell in a buy it now for 279 pounds, which is 358 US dollars. Very fair price for what that is. Beautiful example there. Next up, some more loose graded examples. We got a Lili Ledy Gamorrean Guard, new K-Style AFA 85. That one sold at an auction for $167.50. Can't say enough good things about Gold Star Tech. I had two baggies that I just picked up from them that arrived safe and sound, and they bomb-proofed the packing. It was a really nice packing job. So I'm sure I'll be buying from them again. They did a great job. And then they also had the Dark Stripes Lili Ledy Low Gray. And there's a light stripes as well as a dark stripes. This one has very clearly got the very dark stripes, very dark beige color. AFA 85, that one sold for $154.50. Two really fair prices, I think, for some fairly common Lili Ledys. Same seller also had an ESB-C baggie for C-3PO, not the removable limbs version, which is a very common baggie. I think it's an ESB, or no, I'm sorry, ROTJ baggie. I can't remember. ESB or ROTJ, but the removable limbs C-3PO baggie is very, very common. But this one is not. This one is a solid limbs. I thought that was a great price as well, $233.50. And I picked up a Boss baggie as well as an Amanaman baggie for great prices. I was very happy with my order from them. So if you see any more items from them, they list pretty much every other day. You can buy from them with confidence. I was extremely pleased. Next up, CIB/AFA had this Takara wind-up R2-D2 from Japan, graded AFA 80. I question whether it was an 80, though. You can see some weird rust discoloration type thing going on the front of the R2-D2 wind-up. And also did have a lot of rust on the actual wind-up mechanism itself. So I don't know if that happened after grading or what, but that one seems overgraded to me. You can also see some rust discoloration. Probably rust particles got underneath the sticker would be my guess. I have no idea. Very strange item, but that one was an AFA. It was graded AFA 80. I would argue that's overgraded, or it would not hold up under regrading. Very clearly, this has an older case style, so I would guess that this is more like a 75 at best. That one sold for $490 in an auction. 22 bids on that one. Kez Iban graded AFA 80 plus. I really like this figure. I don't know why. He has that look on his face like he has 10 kids and he's exhausted from being a dad. I know that look, Kez. I know that look very well. It's just rolling your eyes, grinning, and just grinding through the day. I know exactly that feeling, buddy. That one sold for $170.50. Brand new K-style. Very cool figure, though. I like the way that one looks. AFA 80 plus on that one. Next up, some fairly common figures from a seller that we've seen lately. No COO Stormtrooper, graded AFA 85. That one sold for $231.50. They also had an AFA 85 plus Hoth Snowtrooper Hong Kong COO. This is the split visor, and that one sold for $255. Pretty good deal for an 85 plus. Pretty hard to get an 85 plus in any Stormtrooper, whether it's Hoth or regular Stormtrooper. That looks every bit of an 85 plus to me as well. Very clean figure. Next up was a U85 Luke Farm Boy. This one was a Hong Kong blonde hair, light pants. So there's obviously several different variations. This one almost looks like the Taiwan at first blush, because the Taiwans, if to my knowledge, okay, I'm not a Farm Boy expert, but a lot of the Taiwans have that mascara eyes. This has got really heavy paint for the eyebrows and the eyes. And at first blush, I would have said that, I would have guessed that this was a Taiwan, but this one was labeled a Hong Kong U85. That one sold for $609, despite the old K style. So tough to get one of those in a U85. Next up was an AFA 85 no COO Imperial Commander wide face, 11750. One of the interesting things that I found looking through that spreadsheet that I mentioned in a recent video, and if I don't know when this is going to air versus the video that kind of looks through that spreadsheet that my friend Jason was kind enough to put together. It was a massive spreadsheet. But one of the things he noted is that when AFA grades no COO figures, they're in fewer number on the population report, but the percentage of higher grade figures is high. You know, the percentage is higher for no COOs versus Hong Kongs. So part of it is probably because those figures were usually sent in to UKG, since no COO figures almost always, if not always, were in Europe. But for those that were submitted to AFA, you had a greater likelihood of getting an 85 or higher with a no COO versus a Hong Kong. So I just thought that was an interesting trend line that he happened to notice when he was putting that spreadsheet together. Next up is another no COO. This is IG88. This one had the hollow eyes and the silver paint. I don't think there are any gray body IG88s that are no COO. I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe all the IG88s that are no COO have silver, but some of them have hollow eyes, some of them do not, is my recollection. That one sold for $142.50, another very fair price. A no COO large head Han Solo AFA 85 sold for $221.50. And again, that one had the archival case and the harder to find no COO. Tough to find that one graded by AFA in such a high grade. So very cool figure there. Here are those model Trems. And like I said, I bid on all of these, and I finished second or third on all these. So I'm guessing that somebody bought them all and just put in nuclear bids on them. The first one is a model Trem Luke Farm Boy. These were made down in Brazil, as you can see on the box there. These are custom encased, the figure with the original boxes. And these figures are 100% lead. They are made from lead. They're not made from plastic. So they're very heavy figures. Very cool figure though. And that one again sold for $960. CAS 75 plus. These are from the 1980s, and it had the correct box inside. Very cool. I finished second on that one, I believe. It might have been third. Next up was the model Trem Luke X-Wing graded CAS 75 plus. That one sold for $815.55. Again, these are really cool items. I've never gotten into them just because they traditionally, when they're listed on Facebook in the bootleg groups, they're very, very pricey. And I was curious to see how these would go since they were graded and authenticated by CAS. And most collectors don't tend to collect graded bootlegs. So I put in fairly strong offers. I was hoping to win one. I won none of them, but you can see the difference in the boxes too. None of the boxes are exactly the same. These are the boxes I'm used to, this kind of style. But apparently these were another style box that were available down there. So those two sold for pretty good prices. The Luke Hoth I made a really good run at, and again finished second. That one was graded CAS 80, and that one sold for $941 plus shipping. Two different model Trem Obi-Wan Kenobis to finish things off. This one was graded CAS 75 and sold for $890. Note that the cape on this one was kind of like a light gray, and then this one was a CAS 85, and totally different box, you know. So I don't know how they can tell which ones came with which box, but I guess they just had different boxes available. But this one has like a dark, you know, the darker cape that we're used to with the licensed figure, and it was graded CAS 85. Series 1, number 18. That box was pristine. That one sold for $920. And again, this one is labeled Series 1, number 18, but a totally different box, totally different cape. And there's always there are some slight variations to certain figures like Yoda or the Gamorrean Guard, and there's slight paint variations and things like that for a number of the different model Trems that were made down in Brazil. But very cool bootlegs. They just are so expensive usually that I've never bothered to buy one. But these certainly tempted me since they were already encased and protected by CAS. Nice presentation style, by the way, from CAS with all 4 of those, or 5 of those. So anyway, I finished last on all of them, but $920, $890 for the 2 Obi-Wan Kenobi model Trems. I hope you enjoyed this look at recent sales. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.